Now we're going right back into Game 2 of the Icy Empire post-hyperbolic time chamber scrims between Team BARN and Team SUGMA. Now there's been a few changes between the two teams. Team BARN has traded Flavors over for Matt. That's right, it appears Spark Ice and Flavors have swapped teams. Matt will now be a part of the red team, Team BARN, going up against Team SUGMA. Same captains, same other players, but now an entirely new game. So we're going to bring up the scoreboard here, take down the interface and visibility. And now we're going to start right from the beginning. We can see the blue team is setting up for a red side leash. 4 members here, kind of expecting the invade from Team BARN. I'm just going to path back towards mid, while the red team just sets up for a classic leash on the blue buff. Brandon on the cane. Appears he seems slightly more positioned to go maybe for the Gromp first, then to the blue, a strange path, but not unheard of. Matt staying in his lane, not going to walk towards the bushes. He knows Sean likes to get a cheeky level 1 advantage by sitting in the bushes, getting a few Qs off his Yorick. Now, a fear for the blue team in this lane swap and the loss of Matt is that they are afraid that Matt, knowing the Yorick matchup much better than Brandon, will actually be able to kind of slow Sean's advantage. So we're going to see this early game is going to be very important as Sean lands the Q before Matt can get that shield, actually getting a good little chunk of health, while both lanes proceed to help their junglers with the blue and red buff respectively. We're going to have Tristana versus Lucian in the bot lane with a Nivea support for Brock. Both supports missed their big CCs, and we see that Adam on the Blitzcrank, Brock on the Nivea. A lot of this lane is going to come down to missed skill shots, actually. Evans appears to be laning against Ore, an interesting choice for Team Sugma, putting one of their weaker players up against the MVP of Team BARN. Now we have 2 fights going on, but the top lane appears to be more indicative of success for Team Sugma. Sean has that grasp, which provides a good amount of trade against the Shin, but Shin has the exact same mastery, but I don't think he utilizes it quite as well in the fights as Yorick. Yorick will also be able to spawn several small thralls to help him in the fight, so if Matt's not careful about his positioning, he might be vulnerable to that. Nick is pinging for a gank on Ori. Ori has pushed in a lot of confidence showing, but he quickly backs off. It appears Evans has given away the gank, but Ori is chasing in, and Nick might be able to come in with the red buff and get a kill here. They get the W from Evans almost connects with the Q and forces the flash from Ore, while Sean continues to push in the top lane, and Brandon paths towards top. But now Sean, noticing the timing, appears to have gone maybe to ward or just check the river, and it looks like he's going to be safe from the potential gank and continue to push now that Nick is on that top river side. Back in the bot lane, we have Kelvin and Brock continuing to lane against Kyle and Adam. Now it appears that the Lucian Nivea gameplay is going to be a little bit more of a kind of just survival mode and farm it out most likely, while they try and prevent Adam from hitting any big hooks as he's positioning himself for now. Kelvin throws the dash a little bit early. Adam hits the E on Brock. It appears maybe he didn't have the Q to throw on, but this could be a forced flash from the Nivea. Good, good. Appears no summoners used on Team BARN's side, and the flash from Anivia blown puts them in a very vulnerable situation, but Anivia does have the egg passive in case they get caught. Now Brandon has invaded into the blue side jungle and is stealing the Gromp. We're going to see what this does. But Nick appears to be walking back towards his jungle right about in time to find Brandon. And it looks like they're going to collide right now. Brandon has a level up advantage, and he's going to just immediately run away through the wall, try and take his Q away as he knows his top laner is at a little bit more of a disadvantage. Sean using that maybe to get a little bit of a fight going with Matt. Matt gets a quick E taunt Q W situation going to avoid Sean's Q for that big burst, and he's getting a very good trade on Sean. The flash is a little bit short, and appears the ignite is going to tick away though and get the kill, and his passive and Q shield combo is going to protect him from Nick getting that trade kill. Excellently played by Matt. The bot lane, Kyle and Adam continue to shove in Kelvin. Now, Kelvin tends to play with a little bit more of a greedy style. He backs less frequently than most of his opponents, so we probably won't see him take as many backs, while Ore is attempting to stop the shove from Evans. Misses several skill shots after taking a full rotation and is actually getting ignited. And Evans is putting himself in a very good situation in the mid lane before we're taken back to bot, where Kyle will be hit by Q, but no real threat. And Adam moves and hits the E and backs off. Appears to not have the mana for the Q, but it's not needed as the Tristana E is enough to tick away and kill Lucian. His heal was down from the previous fight, and it looks like the junglers will collide again in the river. Looks like Brand's going to get the drop on Nick this time, however, as he hits the WQ and gets a good chunk. Nick can trade back with the Q, and now we see another fight on the top lane. Matt does have his ulti now, so this is going to be a big moment for him to back away and try and ult into this fight happening in the bot side. Evans hits the E, and Adam flash QE. This is going to be a definite kill onto the Brand. They take some damage, but with this many players on the bot side, Nick can't really go in safely. And the Shin ulti is still a possibility. They have to remember, Sean doesn't have his ulti yet, but he should get it on these next few minions, kind of equalizing the lane. Now, Yorick's ulti is going to be far better in these individual fights, so we'll probably not see another big fight just break out between these two, unless Matt just takes a fight off of some poke damage, because this is what we're going to see happen. Now, I know Caster's curse, but it appears Matt didn't really think it through, because his ulti, not useful for a fight, whereas Yorick ulti, pretty darn good. Provides a lot of extra damage that Shin just can't keep up with. We're going to see Shin go down. It looks like Sean might start to get another lead in the top lane with his Yorick, as Matt seems to have forgotten some of the rules about when you're laning against Yorick, especially as Shin. Provides a lot of utility for your team, but offensively, he's not that strong on his own after that level 6 point when other top laners start to get an ulti that might throw out a big minion or some damage, things like that, whereas his ulti more just helps his team but not himself. Sean's able to secure a plate in the top lane and might actually get the second one if these minions continue to crash on. It appears that Sean is within range to get that gold. Now in the mid lane, we actually see Evans makes good use of his pillar and E combo to shove the waves pretty effectively, while getting a little bit of burn damage. And the psychological element can't be forgotten here, because as Evans emotes, each one chips away at Ore's mentality to try and tilt him out of this game. And we see Kane positioning for a potential gank, but he is only level 5. But he is going to walk in anyways. We have the jump in from Kyle. E gets the full burst. Oh, and the exhaust, just a perfect kill, as Brock can't do anything. The wall just walked through, jumped over, flashed on. It appears the Anivia support, not the strongest pick, especially when you get ganked like that. Sean again in the top lane, just immediately brings back the Maiden with him, so we can get a shove going. Now Evans gets a good poke out on Ore. So it seems this game, Team BARN has a lot more of their power going to be concentrated through the mid and bot lane, where they can get easy kills such as what Ori just did to Evans, or what we previously saw by Kyle and Adam onto Kelvin and Brock. Nick is going to be spread very thin this game, it appears, needing to cover for both bot and mid, while he leaves Sean as kind of on an island. Oh, Adam hits a big hook E combo, and it looks like there's going to be just another easy kill. As soon as he gets there, just immediately back into it. Not even safe under his own tower. Matt, on the other end, is staying in the top lane, trying to slow down that snowball that is the Sean Yorick. This is going to be a little bit of an awkward situation. We saw this a lot last game when Sean would get a big wave pushing up, have the Maiden up against Brandon's Camille. Now, Shin, not as good with clearing waves as Camille, but he has a lot more defensive capabilities to kind of dissuade from that dive. Also, Sean respects Matt a lot more as a player. Now having to face against him on Team BARN makes him more hesitant to kind of go for those dives where he was just all in Brandon previously. Brandon continued to clear camps and his pathing looks towards the top lane a little bit, might be going for a bit of a cheeky gank as Sean starts to chip away further and further at Matt. This could be good, but it appears Sean is suspect of it, and Evans is going to go down yet again. Another Adam Rome. Actually paying off big with a kill, but Nick is waiting in the bush. It appears like he wants to go in on Ore after he shoves in this wave, but he'll be 2 levels down, and I don't know if he would be able to do it with those items. Just a dirk and a longsword. Matt actually hits the taunt into the Yorick, whereas Brandon comes in with the slow, and it's just a clean kill from both players. Now it appears that he's getting a lot of red cane for him, but these will be some good blue soul. The ulti into Nick. He has that red buff applying slows. And the quick Q out, the W as well. He is keeping all of this for himself, but Matt comes in for the kill. Just a little, hey, don't forget I'm here moment. And Evan's going to chase after, maybe try and get a kill. It appears Brandon is walking back towards the blue. He's going to be an easy big up for Evans. I don't know what he was doing there. Maybe he thought the blue buff was spawning, but he should have been able to see something like that. Flash is the mastery, though. Now we see Syndra continuing to push out the wave. Evans with a nice shiny red buff might be able to get some extra kind of poke harass, but he is 2 levels down, which is concerning. His farm is suffering from those continuous ganks. Whereas he had an advantage before, it appears to have slipped away. Now Kelvin, keeping a very strong mentality, is actually on par with Kyle for farm. Probably much less gold from those 2 kills, and as we can see, the red team is leading by 3k here, but that could quickly turn around off the back of a dragon, maybe a big Rift Herald playing the top lane. Other factors that give the blue team an inherent strength that they have to watch out for. Now, Kelvin appears to have come too far out and is just going to die. But Brock gets a good stun. Evans coming in. He misses the stun and is a little bit too confident, I would say, as he just throws the ulti out. It does big damage, but it's not going to get a kill. And it appears the blue team is not able to kind of position around this dragon. Sean throws out the ulti, throws out the E yet again, but it's going to be much harder for him to get those easy kills on Shin that he got last game on Brandon. Camille, much squishier, much easier to kill when you get ahead and you keep snowballing. The Shin here, however, has many more defensive capabilities that allow him to kind of stay safe. So Brock hit another Q, solid, but there's no follow-up, though. The wall prevent Adam from coming in to get that hook E combo that's been the death of them so many times in this lane. Well, I say them, but really just Kelvin. Anyways, we have Evans posturing in the mid, trying, it seems, to get Ore in a bit more aggressive position so Nick can follow up with a gank. Now, the thing about the Graves jungle that I think is a weakness for the blue team is it's going to rely on setup from the laners a lot. And as the top player on Team Sugma, Nick would usually be the one they relied on to hit those big skill shots and big abilities. Whereas now they have to rely on Evans to get a pillar Q combo or Sean to land his fight pit. They're really at a disadvantage here by not maximizing on the resources they have, being Nick. The red team, however, kept Ori in the mid position. They shifted Brandon to the jungle, where even if it's the weaker player, maybe mechanically, can still get good pressure on a champion like Kayn and provide value. Now it appears Evans has transitioned to the bot lane, where he proceeded to take a large chunk of damage. They chunked Adam a bit, but Adam is no coward and stays in the lane. He knows what Blitzcrank's job is to do. It's hook and die, pretty much. You hit the hook. It doesn't really matter if you live after it, because they just want you to get that player into your team. He's going in. He's going to throw the Q. Kelvin dashes away. Brock throws up a wall. Here's the red team. Here's the Syndra is now going to roam into the jungle with the Kayn, kind of just showing, hey, this is our territory now, trying to put Nick further behind, knowing that if he can get away with his normal Graves gameplay, it will be detrimental to their success. Gold lead actually increasing for the red team to 4k, but quickly shrinking back as some plates. No, it appears just Nick clearing camps took it a little bit over the edge, so now it's not quite 4k anymore, but about. Anyway, Adam going for another hook, barely misses, but the Syndra stun comes in, the ulti on Brock, and a double kill actually claimed from the Tristana ulti. Brandon was positioning to dive, but wasn't actually needed, and he's going to go in on Evans, who connected the E on him and then the Q on the Tristana, but didn't get the stun. Now Brandon appears to be going back in. The stun comes out from Brand and Syndra. The Brand ulti, more of a panic button there, not really able to do anything. question was coming out in chat, and it appears that the blue team is going to claim the first tower in the bot lane, while Sean is shortly behind them, doing his classic Yorick push problem. The red team is going to have to watch out for that, as Sean has finished his mythic and is starting to really just get that whole Yorick split push going. Nick on the top side, however, to provide that extra bit of security for him so he doesn't fall victim to some of the ganks he did last game. Matt, however, eating out quickly, going in for little quick trades and running out, but that doesn't quite work against Yorick because he has the Divine Thunder, just able to easily heal off the minuscule damage. It appears that the blue team is actually going to ignore a pink ward they walk over and just go straight through top river towards mid. Maybe start the Rift Herald, but it appears Ore is coming down from the top side. Hits the vision plant. Now they can actually see the blue team backing off as they just place a pink on the Herald. Evan's walking up through top jump, kind of just stalling around, doesn't want to be in the mid lane and just die to Ore again. Ore has kind of asserted his lane kingdom in the mid lane here. 2 levels up on Evans. Easily about 30 farm, and he has 0 deaths so far, and a stopwatch, making him feel quite comfortable in this situation. Now the Infernal Drake is going to be spawning in about 35 seconds. It's going to be a big objective. The red team can work towards that kind of late game power that their team is designed with. The Tristana, the Shin, the Kayn, I would say are all very good scaling champions. Whereas on the blue team, now the Yorick will scale very well, and as will the Graves have kind of an earlier power spike if he can continue to farm and get some, maybe a few more kills. Brand's damage does increase well, but he is just going to get squishier and squishier in comparison as the game goes on. Oh, big hook from Adam. Barely misses. That would have been a great kill onto Brock, or at least prog the passive. Now Nick is going to activate the Yomus, and it looks like he's chasing down Kyle. He hits the E, the Q, but the Shin ulti coming in as he dives in towards the Blitzcrank, and the Brand's ulti actually coming out for some good bounces here. But Adam with a big Q onto Nick to allow them to get the double kill for Ore. Where Sean has been caught in the TP, he wasn't able to cancel it out, and now he's going to hit by the Shin Taunt, the Blitzcrank E. There's just too much CC and damage coming out onto Sean. Now the red team is going to position in for this red Drake, almost as if it was ordained by the gods, and take this one as well. Matt E's over the wall is actually going to try and dissuade them, but he hits the plant, actually hitting Kyle forward to proc the Anivia passive. I don't know if that was an intentional play, but mark that down. 18 minutes. We see some incredible teamwork or just a lucky accident. But based on that, they're going to be able to secure the red buff away, and Nick is just running it down, it appears, similar to Kyle Darst, an ancient player from the archives of the ICY scrims that you can actually look back on, maybe in remembrance of him or to honor him. You see the question marks coming out from Team BARN, and we now know why, as the blue team is proceeding to surrender, actually. A very embarrassing showing for the blue team. The first time they swept the competition, but now they get swept. Now it looks like we're going to have to go to game 3.